私のことを守ってくれるの？
ルー。
ありがとう、カルボ。
What's going on, trainers? Dom from the Otaku Room here. We're talking today about Pokemon Horizons episode 102. And was this the best new episode of the Pokemon Horizons Mega Voltage arc? I think yes. Let me explain. So one of the things that I've always loved about Pokemon Horizons, and I will continue to love about Pokemon Horizons, is just the call out to the video games themselves. Like, for me personally, this weekend, you know, I had my Switch controller in hand and I was shiny hunting. Right now, if you guys aren't shiny hunting in Pokemon, I want to call it Pokemon Paldea. If you're not shiny hunting right now in Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, you need to get in there because right now there is a Plusle and there's Plusle Minun. There is the Dene. There is what else is there this weekend? Oh, there's the Palmot. And I think there's like one more Pokemon, but essentially all the Pikachu clones are all shiny available this weekend. And last night I was catching Plusle and Minun. Now, the reason I bring that up is the reason that I love episode 102 is just the callouts to the games. So this episode we had Gimigul, right? Gimigul is going to be a recurring character. We had them finding the Gimigul coins. We had Gimigul fleeing from them. And then we had Gimigul stowing away on the ship. So just that alone, you know how much of a part that Gimigul was as a big part of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And if you didn't know, go play the game. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. But Gimigul is a huge part of that. So immediately I was like, oh my God, I love that so much. Second thing, they're exploring the Paldean region once again. So anytime they're in the Paldea region, I absolutely love it. You know, hopefully they'll take to Kitakami and they'll take to Blueberry at some point too. But I just loved it because I'm like, okay, it's just they put the map on the screen. I'm like, that's the Paldean map, you know, and I just get really excited by that. Then the other thing that they had here too is they had a really good battle between Dot and between Penny. And, you know, Penny had her Pokemon, you know, she had her Sylveon and what was the other Pokemon that she had? I can't even remember actually. She had Sylveon and she had a different one. I was like, yeah, what Pokemon was she using? What Pokemon was she using? She had Sylveon and Flareon. That's what it was. She had Sylveon and Flareon, and she was able to go and terrestrialize Sylveon, and then Dot was able to terrestrialize Quaxwell, and they had a really, really good battle. And although Dot ended up losing the battle, it still showed off her skills as a trainer. And even Nimona later on in the episode was like, hey, don't worry about it. You know, like, Penny's a really strong trainer. Like, she helps all of us out and, you know, whatever. So I thought that was really cool. And then this all is a big lead up to the best moment of the episode. So there's some stuff happening with the 𝐒𝐻𝐽𝐵𝐿ain. Again, 𝐒𝐻𝐽𝐵𝐿ain shout out there. I actually like the pepper Pokemon quite a bit. But, you know, huge shout out to 𝐒𝐻𝐽𝐵𝐿ain. There's a kid who lost his 𝐒𝐻𝐽𝐵𝐿ain and he's been using some strong spheres. So the 𝐒𝐻𝐽𝐵𝐿ain ends up being the one taking over by the Recurium stuff. And Dot goes and finds it with her Meowscarada and with Terapagos, and they end up coming across a Charcadet. Huge shout out to episode 57. So now we get put all the way back because in episode 57 they came across the same Charcadet, and at that point we thought she was gonna catch the Charcadet, but now it's reoccurring once again. So she partners with Charcadet, and they, you know, Charcadet comes in and saves the day. And then she ends up talking to the Charcadet, and the Charcadet's like talking to Terapagos, and then he's like, you know what, I want to come along with you. And then they have the cutest little scene where Charcadet's riding Terapagos like a little horse. It's so cute. But she catches it, she gets it into Pokeball, and then that solidifies it. And if you think about the way that this works, is one, I love Charcadet. I think Charcadet is such a cool Pokemon. I shiny hunted a Charcadet a couple of months ago. I was trying to find a marked Charcadet, and I think I actually ended up finding one. And Charcadet evolves into two different paths, whether you use the different armors that you use, but it goes into either Ceruledge or it goes into Armarouge. And you know, right now, if you think about it, you know, her competitor, you know, her antagonist to the story in a way, you know, is antagonist the right word? But like, kind of like her, yeah, a competitor, I guess you could say, I guess if that's the word that you want to use. But the other character, and I'm trying to remember what his name is right now, and it just Amatheo. Okay, so her competitor, her kind of like her other person, out there who is like, the other one there. Amatheo has a Ceruledge, and that totally makes sense, right? He has Ceruledge, that's his Pokemon partner. Now, Liko could probably be the opposite, and she could have Armarouge as her partner. Now, I think Ceruledge is a better Pokemon. I like Ceruledge a lot. I think he's the better of the two. But Armarouge is still a cool and very useful Pokemon. So now she could potentially have an Armarouge as her Pokemon. So, eventually once evolved, her lineup of Pokemon so far could involve Meowscarada, Hatterene, and Armarouge, and then Terapagos. That's a pretty nice set, right? There's just going to be one spot left, to complete, to complete her Pokemon. So I am really, really excited for, to see this, to see kind of like what her party ends up being, right? Because it's, did I say 5 or 6? Meowscarada, Hatena, or, Hatterene, Armarouge, Terapagos. Okay, she'll have 2 spots left, and one of those 2 spots could definitely be, one of Lucius's past Pokemon as well too. Like she was very close to a couple of the different Pokemon, so it could definitely be that. Or she could catch 2 new Pokemon. But regardless, I think that it's just, you see her team forming. I really like that quite a bit. So this episode just ended up being really good. A huge call out back to a prior episode. We finally get to see her catch another Pokemon finally, because it's been a while. All of the attention has been given to Roy and his party and his shiny Pokemon and stuff. So it's nice to see that go back over to Liko. And I love the way that Liko caught Charcadet. Very nonchalant and very like, I don't know how to explain it, but just very like, she was like, oh, you want to come with me? And Charcadet's like, yeah. She's like, okay, get in the ball. He does. And it's like, it's so cute. So just a really cool episode. So Paldean region, big shout outs to Scarlet and Violet, more areas, Charcadet being caught, Dot, getting more training experience and showing off, Scoville being showed off, and the Gimigul and the Gimigul antics being shown off. Like just a really great package of an episode. And then next episode, we're heading over to Ayano. Next episode is called Burn Hot Grooming Love, and her and Nidothing are going to be holding a special event, or like a collaboration live event between them. So that's going to be a really fun episode too. Definitely filler, but it's going to be fun because Ayano's on screen. And Ayano, I love how she keeps being a recurring character because she is the best gym leader in Paldea, and she's one of the best gym leaders and one of my favorite gym leaders of all time. So yeah. All right, my friends, let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. I appreciate you guys being here for another week of Pokemon Horizons. I'll see you next week, trainers. Have a great rest of your week or weekend whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you then. Peace. Oh, next week is a bye week, so I'll see you on July 18th. Peace.